Hello again. This is the Water Bin, Spiritual Toolbox number 146, the Love Chapter number 122, audio recording number 464, and examination table number 126. Okay. We're continuing in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12. Okay, we're dissecting this thing, breaking it down. Okay. I'll start out by reading it from the King James Version of the Bible. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. Okay? And, let's see. We just finished. Yeah. We did face to face, and now, I know. Okay. Let's see. 1 minute. Hang on. Now I know in part. Okay. Alright, we did now last time, and I know, and that's from 1097, Gnosko, this word.
Strong's G, 1097, Gnosko.
Okay, that's to understand, to know, okay, we're acquiring this to get it. To get to know God, to learn to know, is to get the knowledge or relationship with God. As we're experiencing this, and we're agreeing, we're learning more and more. We're obtaining, possessing that mind of Christ, coming out of that old stinking thinking and possessing more of God. Okay, more of God's love, His righteousness. Okay. Now that's Gnosko, and then it's got in, the next word, but it's not in. It's 1537, EK.
Strong's G, 1537, ek.
It's from out of, and that's denoting the origin, wherever you're from. That's from out of that poop thinking, because we originated in God, and then we were subjected to this our own righteousness is filthy, stinking rags, so we can experience God, agree back in God, you are the greatest. You are my exceeding great reward, and it can grow you. Grow those seeds of Himself that He planted within all this manure thinking. So you're coming out of that manure thinking, and He's growing it, like in the garden, growing things up to good food, okay? Or else they say real lightweight nothing, almost nothing's down in that poop thinking. It's all talking about the way you think in your mind. That's where God's working. Okay? Now, so it's growing in from out of, getting that knowledge of God, understanding from this level, if you will, let's put a level or order of growth in God, from out of, okay? Meros is the next word. I think that's how they pronounce it. It's part. They've translated it as part. 3313, MEROS, this word.
Strong's G, 3313, Meros.
Okay, and that's at your allotment of those seeds, your measure, okay, your share, your portion, a part due or assigned to one. That's all Thayer's. Your due portion, one's own due portion, those little seeds planted in your thought processes, right? Kind of like that, where it says in Romans chapter 12, verse 3, is everyone is given a measure or a limited portion of this faith. That's the seeds of God. That faith being turned back into truthfulness of God, right? And that hope that it's going to do something. It's like seeds putting in your earth, like put seeds out in your garden. You're hoping that they grow. You're expecting them and growing them with the right nutrition. You're green in these storms of life. You're green. You're existing back into it, and you're growing from level to level to level to level. You're increasing back into God's righteousness, God's love. And it's just like there's plants growing from the seeds, germinating, sprouting up the earth and getting all the right ingredients and stuff. And they're green. Stresses, everything. Seems like a seed when it's germinating and it's sprouting into growth and stuff. It's pressures. It has to come up through the top of the soil and everything. I mean, you know, what is it? You fertilize that soil so it's got nutrients, rich nutrients and water, and you know, then it comes up to sunlight. The whole thing is grown into a plant where it bears much fruit or much good food. It's like a raised loaf, that artos, right? Pressure, that raised loaf. It's speaking in similar analogies, you know, the different pictures and stuff, but it's saying like the same thing. We're growing from faith to faith to faith to faith. Okay. Now, from this limited portion, see, so this knowledge of God, this absolute knowledge wherever you're at. Okay. From out of, ek, not in, that would be Ian, okay? No, this is EK, from out of, whatever state you're at. Okay? From out of that one level of poop thinking, one level of growth in that seed, that one thought process, one little area. You got a whole myriad of those, so each one of those is growing as God permits. So you just put a limited portion in them. Take 100 seeds out, plant them in a garden. You got the potential for 100 of them growing back into this great fruit bearing much, into where you harvest it and have much crops, like good foods. Okay, good food. Okay, you go out and you plant 1,000 seeds in that. Potentially, may have to get a little bit more of a bigger field or whatever. There's 1,000 of them in there instead of 100. You got potentially 10 times as much you could reap if everything's right and there's all, you agree, and all these storms of life. See, in your mind, everyone going through this stage. We're all subjected to this vanity, not willingly, but in hope, right? This hope, this expectation is being increased. If we agree, that's all we got to do. But we got to agree in hot pursuit, not just a lukewarm or a cold, staying in that cold ground, that cold poopy thinking, our own righteousness, trying to make up our own right mind, good or evil or something. Okay? The weeds will take its place. Okay? Thorn bushes and stuff, they'll take it eagerly. Wow. You'll be all messed up. Right? You disagree, you reap corruption, right? You sow to the Spirit, you reap the life of the ages, right? Fullness of life in God. You're growing. Okay? As God's giving the increase back into Him. So you're seeing Him as He truly is. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay? God's love is awesome. God is love. God is light. He's bringing you back to Himself, back into a state of, wow. Okay? No. So it's limited portion. It's kind of like how many seeds. God's put them in there. Okay? Potential. Alright? Now. So that's, oops. I don't know. Back that. Hang on a minute. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part. That's right, now I know in part. Okay? But then shall I know, even as also I am known. Just doesn't flow real smooth off the tongue, does it? Now, let's see. Face to face. Okay, now the next word they have in there in the interlinear Bible is then. They translate it as then, okay? And that's that word 5119 TOTE.
Strong's G 5119.
Tate. Excuse me. Oh, hang on. Shoot, excuse me. Now, means as long as we're agreeing. Whatever we're agreeing with. If we're agreeing with that old fleshly stinking thinking, we're going to decrease. Thorns and briar bushes stuff going to overtake that. That seeds place. And we're going to increase in the God. Okay? But as long as we're doing that other, at that time, we're increasing a little bit by little bit by little bit. And there's a whole 3 days or 3 ages for each seed growing back in there. Okay? So you gotta agree. That's green lighting it. Red lighting it will be disagreeing. Anything but being in hot pursuit of God. Okay? Been teaching this stuff, so I'm just like touching on it a little bit. If you don't understand, you better go back and study and figure it out for yourself. These are pictures and stuff I'm showing and analogies and metaphors and stuff, and these are in here. Okay? It's not that old monster stuff and junk. It's a facade. That's to help keep you confused. So them, like thorns and briar bushes and stuff, will overtake your seeds in the earth. You won't get what God's put in you. It's like subsiding away. No way can you increase into God doing this. Right? Alright. You gotta qualify to go in. Qualify is go full bore. Hot pursuit. Hang on, buddy. Like I used to tell my kids when they was growing up, I'd take them on a 4-wheeler ride and we'd get ready to go through a big mud hole or something. I'd say, put your feet up, buddy. Hanging on with that was implied, hang on tight. And we'd just go through. I was drumming it up like it was really, but I wasn't. I was being gentle with them, but take them through, give them some excitement. God's giving us some excitement. He's in full control. It just seems totally out of control to us. But the only way you get control is to agreeing to God. Let go of all that stuff. Oh, I'm going to die. Our ship is going down. Just like those disciples in that storm, that tempest. It's a great tempest. Come on the ship, on your wooden ship. Your mind, the wood speaks of humanity. Our own way of thinking. That good and evil stuff can't handle it. Can't handle the truth. But thankfully, God can. Right? It thinks it's all chaos. As long as you're in that good and evil stuff, trusting in that and believing all this bullcrap, looking and trying to find stuff in that old Sodom and Gomorrah thinking that's been burned up, it's just bullcrap. He ain't going nowhere. But down, down, down. He's going down. Right? To go up, you gotta give up that stuff. Go up in the spirit. Grow up to increase into God's right-mindedness. Knowing God more intimately, like this most go. And that's at one level, okay? And I'll get to this other. It's epignosko, known about next level. Okay? That's the increase. And each time it's like, right? Okay. Now, so it's tate. Then, at this time, as long as you're agreeing in hot pursuit, you're increasing. 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16, 32, 64, 128, right? As many times. Growing in glory. That thing's being purified. Pressures are there. They're probably increasing. But it's like party time. Because you're just like those 3 ages. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, 3, in that fiery furnace, heated up 5 times as hot. There's a 4th one in there. God was in there, protecting them. Don't have to worry about it. You're growing. It's in God. It's getting brighter. Frequencies of hitting God's will is going to get faster and faster and faster. More often, you're in God. You're a fire. He's making his ministers a flame of fire. Right? You don't have to worry about it. God's your rock, your high tower, your strong fortress. He put on the armor of God. He take care of you. That other stuff's just, it don't matter. If God be for you, who can be against you? Shall anything be able to separate you from the love of God? No. All this other stuff, nakedness, peril, sword, all this stuff, none of it. It's just like his fiery trials. Just like the lion's den, just like your ship being don't sink your mind. Oh, world's going to hell, man, best everything's against me. It's all baloney. Okay, now, so tate at this time, this ball that you're thinking, this marble, okay, that's kind of one of the roots in that word, okay? It's being corrected as you're qualifying, agreeing in hot pursuit, existed in God. You're growing from one level to the next level to the next level in God's righteousness. Acknowledging, understanding, wow, God, you are awesome. Wow, you're even more awesome. It's getting plumb crazy to that carnal thinking, but it's more glorious. Wow. More like a exceedingly great, joyous occasion. That fruit of the Spirit is growing, right? It's got to start these seeds. Got to go through all these pressures, and it's growing. Increasing every little thing is like, to you at that stage, is wow. Okay? So tate, they translate that as then, okay? And then they got but. The word to translate is but. That's 1161 DE.
Strong's G 1161.
Day.
De.
Remember that word can be an aversive, disagreeing with God, or a continuative, agreeing with God in hot pursuit. That aversive is lukewarm or cold. This is all disagreeing with God. Anything but being in hot pursuit, which qualifies you to continue in this increasing. And then it's growing from a seed all the way up into possibly a great forest, bearing all kinds of fruit for God. Like growing from nothing, all this black yuck stuff, this dark matter and dark energy stuff, it's got the chaos, into unity with God. Like just more greater glory. God's right. God's awesome. Wow, you're my exceeding great reward. Okay? The self-existing one. Okay, you're existing into the self-existing one. Okay? Now, let's see here. And doing this according to your part Okay, but now we're down here to shall I know. Remember before we did is like that other level, gnosko, that knowing or getting. Okay, now we're down to 1921, EIPGINOSKO, epignosko, this word.
Strong's G, 1921. Epiginosko. Epiginosko.
So each stage you're growing is to become thoroughly acquainted with. To know thoroughly. Know with, to become strong, to become fully acquainted with it's been thoroughly more. You're increasing in your understanding, your knowledge. Your seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell is opened up more and more and more from one level of gnosko to the next level, epignosko. Wow! Okay? It's opening up more to a greater extent. That marble of your thinking is being purified. Let's see here. I wrote a note here. One knows God's righteousness, God's love beyond words. Okay, beyond the description of mere words. In this marble intimately, the relationship with God's righteousness has been elevated or raised up higher in the spirit. You know Him greater to a more intimate experience. You're being purified more and more. He's chop at a higher percentage of that marble. Is going from dark ignorance of God's ways to being brighter, more gaseous state in there to where really that's going to be compressed down and boom, a star in God. And it's going to grow into whatever God wants it to grow. You know, in this natural universe, there's different sizes, different like hotter and larger and all these different kinds of stars, right? And in your mind, it's the same thing. Different areas, you're going to know God deeper, more intimately, more glorious, shining much bright light. All kinds of stuff going on in there. Remember, this natural outward external thing, this cosmos, how this teaching you about the cosmos in here, that orderly arrangement in your mind, in the mind of humanity. And my observable universe is what I can conceive, what I can understand in my mind. Is it all black, little seeds in it that I don't even know the seeds are there? Or in any state, any gnosko to epignosko, all the way up through there, growing back into whatever God wants to. And then Lisa's got it. My parents got it, brothers, sisters, friends, families, enemies, everybody's got it. Whether they agree into God and let it grow. Right? That's each individual has to work out their own salvation, their own deliverance from this black darkness, this dark energy, dark matter, this poopy thinking, not in fear and trembling, respect, honor, adoration, growing back into realization, a greater and greater realization that God is great. He's your exceeding great reward. Just like in Genesis 15:1, when God told Abram, I am your exceeding great reward. I am is the self-existing one. God is your exceeding great reward. He's not just just another reward. That was okay. What else is there? I want something else different. No, God is that great, exceeding great. And it's exceeding because it is growing. When God gives the increase, it's like, wow. And it grows bigger and bigger, or greater, more glorious inside of you. And there's all kinds of those seeds planted in your manure thinking, right? In your universe, your observable universe in this mind. Booyah, baby. Next booyah coming up. Booyah, baby. Booyah, booyah, booyah. See, you're marching. Right back in the God. I agree, I agree, I agree. I exist, I exist, I exist. Never, you don't want to, I mean, you're going to reap what you sow. If you take it look back over your shoulder, say, kind of spiritually thinking, yeah, wonder if there's anything good in that burnt Sodom and Gomorrah stuff, that burnt ring, pillar of salt. You can't walk, can't exist. Pillar of salt be like an old statue made out of salt. It ain't gonna walk. It can't walk back in the Oh, I'm stuck. Oh no, I'm falling back down into this crap. Oh no, my soul is just withering away to nothing. Like dark energy is pushing my galaxies away from other galaxies. Oh, this seed is going away from that seed faster and faster. Oh no, everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Nobody ever thinks that way, do they? That, oh man, everything is just going to crap. Everything. Oh. You gotta shut that stuff up. And you gotta do it in your own mind. Nobody else can do it for you. You can pretend to play games and all this stuff, put on a facade, shine outside cup. That doesn't do you any good at all. All kinds of dead man's bones still in there. That old poopy thinking. The only way you can get it out is agreeing to God, okay? Now, so it's epignosko. See, one knows God's righteousness. This marble intimately. It's been purified, right? Chopping all that stuff out. Wood pile, burn it, make gas. Heating it up inside that rubberized concrete. And skimming it off. See? Shall we chop this out? Yes, sir, Daddy. I agree in hot pursuit. Burn up. Increase. Okay? This stuff's heating up. So, man, I can't stand no more. I gotta give up on this stuff. Shall we skim it off? Are you giving up on that stuff? Yes, sir, Daddy. I agree. Let's do it. Oh, save me, get me all this stuff. Increase. Okay? Going from level to level to level to level. Glory to glory to glory. Line upon line, precept upon precept. You're growing. Okay? Green lighting that baby. Not red lighting it. Right? Red light, fall away. Stop. Do not pass go. Don't try to go through it. Slip slide, manipulate through it. Don't yellow light either. Can't get through that on God. Lukewarm and cold, no way. Absolutely not allowed by God. Ooh, yuck. Oh, you. Right? Vomit, yeah, out of his mouth, right? Alright. Now, don't have to spend a lot of time on that. I already have. You should kind of listen to these and study these in order. Okay? Gotta get it for yourself. Okay? Now, so, now let's see. Now they translate that epignosko, shall I know, okay. And then we're down to even as. That's at KATHOS 2537, this word.
Strong's G 2531. Kathos.
Oh, 2531.
Kathos.
Looking right at it, I just said 37. Guess I seen that little bitty thing down on that one, but it's 2531. Okay, Kathos. Kathos. It looks like Kathos, but Kathos. Alright. That one's an adverb. Comes from 2596 and 5613. Okay. You can go look at that yourself. Okay. And kathos or kathos is like can be just as, or it's like that from order to order, okay? It's having your head covered. God's your covering. He's covering you, okay? Down and throughout. Your whole marble of that thinking. God's taking its place. He's taking the throne as your rightful king of that thing. He's purifying you, okay? So, okay, that's kathos. Kathos. And I got about a minute left. Okay, even as also I am known. Also is chi. That's a conjunction, cumulative, or a copulation. It's joining, reuniting you back to God, and it's a cumulative. Okay? Alright, I covered that before too. And then the last word is I am known. That's an epigenosko. That's to a greater level, more intimately knowing God. Okay? Alright, got it in. I got just a few seconds here. I'll be continuing somewhere. I don't know next. I'll check it out and we'll start there. Okay? That's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse, the whole chapter, okay? And I had 122 of those recordings. We covered that chapter. Just a little short chapter, but you got covered pretty thoroughly. And then this is